Welcome to Shop Happenings. I hope this becomes a series that you'll enjoy, and I hope I continue with it. So this is our shop. In today's video, I want to give you an overview of some of our equipment. I'll get into projects on later videos. So as you walk in the door, we come into our little Grizzly milling machine. This has been a really good little unit for us. We make all sorts of projects on that. We put all our tooling immediately next to it, and that tooling also fits an R8 taper that we have in our other Grizzly milling machine. This is our larger of the two Grizzlies. We also have a vintage Delta drill press. This thing is a workhorse. It's fabulous, quiet, runs wonderfully. We purchased a Kalamazoo sander a few years ago to replace one of our little Deltas, and we love this thing. This thing runs all the time, runs great, very simple, easy to maintain, easy to put belts on. Vibratory tumbler, box and pan brake, baby squaring shear, buffer, wood lathe, and our larger squaring shear. If I turn back around and face the doors we just came in, on the other side of this aisle we'll find our panel saw. You see our glue bench behind that. We have our molders bench here where we can cast stand. We have the ability to aluminum cast, and our another medium-sized box and pan brake. If I turn a hard left when I come in the door, we're going to find some lumber in our planer. This lumber and our planer are getting ready to make Adirondack chairs in the spring. We make 30 of those a year. That'll be a project we focus on later. We have our shaper here. We have a Grizzly spindle sander. This has been absolutely wonderful. Again, I'm just going to make a real quick spin around here so you can see where we're at. So those are the doors we just came in. We come around, we have a vintage Stanley grinder, wonderful machine, things works great, use it all the time. We have an abrasive chop saw, that's probably as abrasive as my personality. We have steel storage in a rack, our Delta chop saw for wood. If I spin around here, we'll find our two Delta sanders. These are 6-inch wide belt sanders and a disc sander. We don't use the discs, we use only belts to give our good finish for our sanded projects. We have a Grizzly router. This is an overarm router. The cylinder is air operated. This thing is handy as heck. We'll look at that at a later time. We have built our own downdraft sanding table. All this is a plywood box with wood on top. And it's just pegboard. And we have a squirrel cage fan in the bottom with some filters. It filters out our sawdust, keeps us really nice and clean. We have a workbench here immediately behind that and a series of workbenches. As you can see in the background, the planer is there. I'm going to come back around here. We have a Grizzly bandsaw. We have a ZenBot CNC router, very handy. As you can see, all the white powder on here is from a cutting board project we just finished. And I always tell students that we killed Santa Claus, or not Santa Claus, but Frosty with this. So it's kind of a sad thing we did there. Just kidding. My bandsaw, safety glasses cabinet. When we come back through the shop, we'll see our 2-drum sander. This is kind of the end of our woodworking equipment with the exception of the table saws. I'll show you in a little bit. We have 3 K3 CNC milling machines with the Prototrax KMX controller. We had 3 of these donated by Track Machine Tool, and it was very, very graciously donated to us by Rich and Marion Leonard of California. They gave us 3 of these. We've had them in use for about 3 weeks now. We're making chips like crazy, doing all sorts of projects. As I continue, we have a Van Norman, an OKK VM4 CNC milling machine. This has a 20 tourette head. This was donated by Stork. They make turbo blades in Newfield/Ithaca area. This has a FANUC control. Right now we're making cabs for one of our projects. This is a little CNC project we're doing to make cabs for a toy that we're making. If I turn around here, this is a metal lathe. This is a Logan metal lathe donated by a gentleman named George Gull. George gave this to us. He built parts on this for a infrared telescope that flies on a 747 aircraft. He gave us a bunch of pictures for that. They're up here on the wall. There is Sophia, and as we go down through, you can see the photographs of some of the things that Sophia has taken, and parts for that telescope were made on this lathe. So a little history there. As I come down through, this was a grant-funded machinist chest through the Haas Foundation. Haas was generous in giving us some money, and we bought 3 of these. We've outfitted all 3, the same outfits on all 3, so wherever a student goes, they can get the same tools out of the same drawer. Extremely handy. This is the only metalworking piece of equipment we had when I started here. This is a Rockwell metal lathe. This thing has been absolutely bulletproof for us. We've done some little upgrades to it. We're now going to put on a quick change tool post. We're still going to maintain our lantern tool post, which is here, but we're going to upgrade to a quick change as well so we can make quicker changes with our students. This came from our local BOCES. They dismantled their precision machine shop, so this was donated from the BOCES to us. This is a standard modern metal lathe. It's been very good to us, and we've had great luck with it. This Bridgeport milling machine also came from BOCES when they dismantled. The vise came with it as well. Recently, we added a Schar's DRO. That thing has been absolutely awesome. We're really having good luck with that. As I come over here, here's our Van Norman horizontal vertical combination milling machine. Right now we have it set up for a horizontal project that's just finishing up. So we got to clean that soon. But this also came from BOCES. Past that, you will find our Miltronics VM24 CNC milling machine. And this is Centurion 6 controller. This was donated to us by Kodama 3D out of Freeville, New York. They're very gracious in giving us that. They've also given us tons and tons, mountains of materials they've helped us with. Here's another one of those machinist chests. We actually have 3. If I turn the corner here, we're going to find a Grizzly metal lathe. This is another manual. We bought this, I believe, back in 2016. This has been really good to us. It has a quick change tool post. Students like it. It's small, it's compact, fits in a corner, runs on 110. Great little machine, great little machine. If I spin the corner, our Delta 6-inch jointer, we have 2 of these. This is our 1970s, 80s vintage. We also have a 50s vintage. They've both been good to us, and we're using them currently. We have a slip roll on a bench here. This is an Aeroturn BT300 CNC metal lathe. This metal lathe was donated to us by Mettler Toledo High Speed. They were moving their company, and this they didn't want to take with them, so they gave it to us. We're currently using that. We just finished our first project. As I spin around here, I have a Delta table saw. It's a 10-inch table saw. We also have a SawStop table saw. This table saw, all we do is rip on this, and as you can see, we have a Grizzly power feeder. That's what I call our $500 finger saver. It's awesome when we rip things, your fingers are out of the way, and it works really good. As I come to the back of the milling machine, you see a workbench, some vices. We have a hand tapper, arbor press, toolboxes. As I spin around here, you'll see one of the go-karts that we build. We'll go into that at a later time. This is our CNC plasma cutter. I forget the name on this. Oh, it's a Plasmacam plasma cutter. We purchased this a number of years ago with a grant. As you can see, currently not working, or it's working, we're just not using it at this moment. We just finished up a big project with that as well. As I turn the corner here, you'll see another one of our go-kart frames that we're working on. We're also doing a project for a local company. This is a side tooth off a huge bucket loader, and we're adding a plate to that so that it's a wear surface for that tooth. So that's pretty cool. As you can see, we have our stick welder in the corner. We have a little MIG down here. We have our TIG welder over here. So we kind of have a welding area here with a booth. We also, if we spin around in the back, we have a forge. We also have a crucible furnace. Right now it's being hid by this machine that we're discarding, and we're looking for a new owner basically for that. We finished our tour of the shop. Kind of walk down through, you'll see another one of our go-karts. We have a donated surface grinder from Precision Machine Tools in Cortland, New York. Nick Evenson gave this to us from his company. We've used this to make parallels. We've used this to make jigs and fixtures. A really handy little machine. In the back here, the lights aren't on, so I won't show you, but we have our storage area, and in the front of that storage area, we have another area for welding. We have our Grizzly bandsaw. This is a horizontal bandsaw used for cutting material. Our little spot welder. Wonderful little workbench. SawStop table saw. And as we continue, you will see our large edge sander from Grizzly. That's been awesome. And I've never heard of one of these, so I saw one once. But if you don't have one of these, this is a bag sander from Sandrite. And what it has the ability to do is that it flexes. As you can see, these are air-filled bladders, and this will conform to the contour of a shape that you're going to make. So continue through, we have a grinder. We also have a vintage Wells bandsaw. We use the crap out of this as well. It's been a very handy machine for us. And our last thing I want to look at is our Craftsman radial arm saw. We've set this up to mass produce things. There's a bunch of stops here, and we'll do a video on that as well. That's pretty cool. I hope you enjoyed our tour. Look for more videos. I hope to do more, and I hope to see you later. Have a wonderful day.